Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old matriarch of a prominent Tucson family, vanished from her home in late January 2026, leaving loved ones and the nation stunned. Known as the devoted mother of Savannah Guthrie, the disappearance seemed unthinkable. Friends and neighbors described her as a resilient, kind, and unassuming woman, devoted to family and faith. Yet, behind her composed exterior lay a secret life spanning decades. Recent revelations suggest Nancy wasn't just the mother everyone admired. A mysterious package arriving at the family's doorstep days after her disappearance began unraveling a hidden existence that reshapes the narrative entirely. The matriarch of Tucson, Nancy's life in Tucson was emblematic of resilience. Widowed at 47 after Charles Guthrie's sudden death, she raised 3 teenagers alone, balancing work, church, and family obligations. Her modest ranch-style home in the Catalina foothills became a haven of stability. Friends remember her as tireless, graceful, and selfless. She volunteered in her community, worked part-time as a bookkeeper, and instilled values of humor, faith, and determination in her children. Savannah often credited her mother's grit as a guiding influence in her own life. But while Nancy thrived publicly, the first cracks of a hidden life began surfacing decades ago. A mysterious envelope. 5 days after Nancy's disappearance, an unmarked envelope arrived at Savannah's New York residence. Inside was a faded photograph of Nancy in Santa Fe in 1992, standing beside a man no one recognized. On the back, a cryptic message read, "Ask about Elena." The photo, dated 3 years after her husband's death, hinted at a hidden chapter. Savannah shared it with her siblings, sparking shock and confusion. Annie whispered, "Who's this guy? Who's Elena?" Cam was equally stunned. This envelope became the first tangible clue of a secret life Nancy had maintained for decades, hidden behind the familiar facade of a devoted mother and grandmother. The beginning of Elena Nancy's secret life began innocently in 1991 during a solo trip to Santa Fe. Still grieving Charles, she encountered Victor Ramirez, a 45-year-old artist and gallery owner originally from Mexico City. Both had experienced loss. Victor's wife had died in a car accident years earlier. Their connection was immediate, based on shared grief and curiosity about the world beyond routine life. Victor introduced Nancy to a world of art, culture, and passion she had long suppressed. Over time, their friendship blossomed into a romance. Back in Tucson, Nancy compartmentalized her roles, creating a double life she would maintain for more than 3 decades. Weekend escapes to freedom. Nancy began making regular trips to Santa Fe, telling her children she was attending retreats or visiting friends. In reality, she was living as Elena, Victor's partner. The name symbolized her freedom, her hidden fire, and the life she couldn't express in Tucson. In Santa Fe, she assisted with gallery operations, curated shows, and even displayed her own paintings. These weekend escapes became essential for Nancy's emotional survival, offering passion, creativity, and connection she couldn't experience as a widow managing a household. While guilt and secrecy weighed on her, she rationalized that her family's well-being required maintaining the illusion of her singular, devoted life in Tucson. Building a parallel life. By the mid-1990s, Nancy's double life solidified. She opened a small bank account under the alias Elena Ramirez, funneling modest amounts from her bookkeeping work to support Victor's gallery. In Santa Fe, she engaged with artists, writers, and thinkers, exploring a life of debate, creativity, and adventure. Elena was everything Nancy could not be: flirtatious, uninhibited, and fully alive. The secrecy was meticulous. Different clothing, hairstyle, and behaviors ensured no one would link the two identities. Still, the hidden life came with costs. Anxiety, fear of discovery, and guilt became constant companions, though she continued to prioritize family stability above all. Growth of Elena's world. By 2000, as Savannah moved to Washington, D.C. for NBC, Nancy had more time for her secret life. Longer stays in Santa Fe became routine under the pretense of health retreats. She managed gallery finances, curated shows, and became a trusted figure in Victor's community. Locals knew her as Elena, a perceptive partner behind the gallery's success. Her Tucson identity remained untouched, creating two separate existences. Over time, however, cracks appeared. Health issues, anxiety, and the stress of long-term deception mounted. Victor wanted her to be open with her family, but Nancy resisted. She had invested too much in protecting the family narrative. The pressure of secrecy. As Savannah's national profile rose, Nancy's secret life grew riskier. Her trips, correspondence, and hidden accounts could easily be traced. Despite precautions, burner phones, cash payments, secret video calls, Nancy felt increasing paranoia. She confided in Victor about fears of exposure. The pandemic briefly paused her trips, deepening her isolation. By the time travel resumed, her anxiety compounded. Even Victor's patience was tested. He desired full commitment, but Nancy prioritized her Tucson identity. For 30 years, she successfully balanced devotion and secrecy. But the cost of hiding her true self, anxiety, health strain, and distance from loved ones, was mounting. The vanishing. On January 31st, 2026, Nancy disappeared. She had returned home after dinner. The garage door closed at 9:50 p.m., and blood drops were discovered inside and outside the home. No forced entry or robbery was evident. The family initially feared a crime related to Savannah's fame, but the envelope with the Santa Fe photograph changed perspectives. Investigators traced the photograph to Victor Ramirez, who confirmed decades of secret meetings and letters. Nancy had visited him 2 weeks prior, expressing fear of being watched. The discovery reframed the entire investigation, pointing toward her secret life rather than a random act of violence. Clues from Santa Fe Victor handed over letters, photographs, and a painting titled Hidden Horizons. These artifacts illustrated the depth of Nancy's secret existence. Investigators now consider possibilities including blackmail, jealous rivals, or exposure from the Santa Fe community. Nancy's careful avoidance of digital traces highlights her determination to preserve secrecy. Her family, blindsided by the revelations, struggles to reconcile Tucson Nancy with Elena, the passionate, free-spirited woman who thrived away from home. Each clue paints a picture of a woman balancing love, devotion, and personal freedom, but leaving her vulnerable to forces previously unknown. Family reactions. Savannah, Annie, and Cam faced a complex grief, mourning not just the disappearance but the revelation of a hidden mother. Emotional calls revealed disbelief, sorrow, and questions. The children struggled to understand the necessity of secrecy and the sacrifices Nancy made. Letters, photos, and artifacts from Santa Fe introduced a version of their mother that had existed entirely apart from their lives. Yet, despite confusion, they continued to affirm her role as their mother. Reconciling these dual identities has become an emotional challenge, blending admiration, shock, and an urgent need for answers. Public response news of Nancy's double life has sparked curiosity and debate. Online communities speculate about blackmail, secret lovers, and motives behind her vanishing. Social media discussions highlight fascination with her secret freedom, courage, and deception. Her story resonates because it intertwines ordinary life with extraordinary hidden complexity. Fans, neighbors, and investigators alike are captivated, piecing together clues from decades-old trips, letters, and photographs. While speculation continues, one truth remains clear. Nancy's life was far richer and more layered than anyone had imagined, and the discovery of Elena has changed the perception of her entire existence. Conclusion. The story continues. Nancy Guthrie's vanishing is more than a missing person case. It is the unraveling of a carefully guarded secret spanning 3 decades. Tucson Nancy and Santa Fe Elena existed in parallel, offering a story of love, loss, creativity, and resilience. As investigators pursue leads and her family seeks closure, the narrative evolves daily. Nancy's life reminds us that even those closest to us may harbor hidden depths. Her story is a testament to human complexity, illustrating the sacrifices and secrets we carry to protect love and family, even at the cost of personal freedom and safety.